There we go. Shush. Peace to the family, y'all. Peace, love, and light. Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome to another bill, another magical Monday. All right. What's good with you? Peace, y'all.
Continue on I-85 south for 4 miles.
Peace, peace, peace. Another magical moon day, another magical Monday. What's good with you? Where you at? Peace, family. Peace, love, and light. What's good? What's good? It's another one of those magical Mondays with a whole lot of news to talk about. Right? If you are in Georgia, if you're in Atlanta or the surrounding areas, make sure that you get outside and you enjoy some of this majestic weather. You know what I'm saying? Tap into these ions. Yeah, tap into some of these ions out here. It's a beautiful day. It's one of those, weird weather days. Can't tell if it's spring or fall. You know what I mean? But it's beautiful outside. Yeah, it's beautiful. The energy is amazing. It's another magical Monday. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna jump into some things because it's it's a lot of stuff to discuss. And as we do, I don't know what the hot topics of the day are specifically, but nonetheless, I got some news I want to go through. It's very powerful news. And it's 12/12/22. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the weather's bipolar. The weather's Kanye. Right? We could use that as a euphemism. Yeah, the weather's Kanye. The weather's going through. The weather's yaying. Yeah. The weather's yaying. Portals are open. Alright, so it's 12/12. Tomorrow's when we start the Christmas songs. 12 days of Christmas, It starts on the 13th. Okay, so we can start the Christmas countdown. We can start the Christmas countdown starting tomorrow. And it's 11/11 if you're on the West Coast. Shout out to 11/11s and 12/12s. You feel me? Shout out to my brother, Jason L. What's good, man? What's good, Jason? I need to hear some music from you, man. What was it again?
The Imhotep step.
Yeah, we need the Imhotep step, bro. Let's stop keeping these people from waiting. Let's not keep them waiting too much longer, man. We need that Imhotep step. Real talk. Let's get it. Yeah, so 12/12. Isn't that in the Bible that no one should celebrate these so-called special day holidays, whatever you want to call me? I don't understand the question. Yeah, Christmas is not a part of Christianity to begin with, first and foremost, but it's the biggest Christian holiday. That's for you to figure out. What holy day, what holiday per se is Christian that Christians celebrate? Because Easter's about the bunny and it's not about Christ. Christmas is about Santa Claus first and it's not about Jesus. Thanksgiving is a folk tradition holiday. So they be like, these is the holy days. Where? Which one? Where? Let's talk about it. All right, so let's talk about Christianity. Somebody said Christianity is hilarious. Well, let's talk about it. Well, first and foremost, I celebrated my 33rd sermon yesterday. 33 consecutive.
Use the right 2 lanes to take exit
right? 33 ones, back to back to back to back, you know. So consistency is very important for me because, you know what I'm saying? I know that that's where the magic happens. You got to be consistent. And yesterday was a powerful sermon for the Pope. Yeah, the Pope was poping yesterday. Unapologetically, you know, we've showed people a new way to read the Bible. And that's not a small tale, you know. Be it as you may, you could beat up on it all you want. You know what I'm saying? But I think that it's more responsible to give people an operative lens that they can actually, you know, extract some level of power from, rather than throw the whole thing away. That's inconsequential. It's not going to lead to anything. You got to figure out a way to repurpose this shit. You know, because your nanas and them is still in there. So, yeah, these, you know, look at all of the passages from yesterday from 12:11. Look how they all lined up. You feel me? I just think that people stopped being scientific a long time ago, and they just been trapped in their emotional feelings when you got to be honest and true with yourself. Have you ever formulated anything that could push back against Christianity, you know, in this paradigm? So then you failed the assignment. You failed the mission because it still has you in a headlock. You're still in the yoke of it. You still live under Christianity as an institution, and you have failed to do anything to get yourself from underneath it. You're being held back and beat by papers, by words on a page. You know, you have not gotten up from underneath the black and white paradigm. So it's like, are we just supposed to retreat from it altogether, or attempt to make some sort of sense out of it? And if it don't make sense at all, why is it still around? You know what I'm saying? Because all of this is contingent upon participation. Like, you know, if y'all was mad at Ye by saying slavery is a choice, then that means that you have an option to not be enslaved. Why are you not exercising those options, and what does it look like? Because spirituality in this paradigm is just another form of Christianity. Tell me that I'm wrong. Show me different. Again, in this paradigm, right? We're not in the East, right? We're not in the East living in ashrams with gurus. You feel me? We here in the West, and everything is a version of remixed Christianity. And then people be remixing the Christianity, telling you how bad Christianity is. Tell me one institution, right now, not to put anybody on the spot, but we're going to put everybody on the spot. What institution came forward and just said, I'm going to do it without no monotheistic religions altogether, right? I'm going to be the saving salvation of my people, and I'm going to do it minus Christianity altogether. I'll wait. I'll give y'all a minute. So we can we can slow step here. Again, I don't want to be starting nothing, but I also want to just point certain things out so we can get past, you know, people. That shit ain't got nothing to do with me, son. I've been woke since I know the truth. So this was a deep article where they was asking, is Jesus woke? You feel me? Yeah, spirituality potentially is not religious, but the way that these niggas do spirituality is Christianized, it's anglicized, it's a whole bunch of things. some real interesting statistics that are coming out about the church right now. And these observations or these statistics, they speak to a larger issue in the culture. You feel me? They speak to a larger issue in the culture. You gotta keep moving on. Yeah, so they said the U.S. church membership falls below the majority for the first time, right? So for the first time ever in this country, which is considered a Christian country, they're saying that the amounts of membership, the rolls of membership, have fallen beneath 50% for the first time ever. They're more at 47%. You feel me? American membership in houses of worship continued to decline last year, dropping below 50% for the first time in Gallup's 8-decade trend. In 2020, 40% of Americans said they belong to a church, synagogue, or mosque, down from 50% in 2018 and 70% in 99. And those numbers continue to fall. So Christianity got exposed by C-19. You feel me? And post-COVID, no religious institutions have rebounded with any degree of snapback, right? They have all unceremoniously, they're losing their numbers. You feel me? Statistic-wise, they said that there's 2 billion Catholics in this country, and there's 45,000 denominations of Christianity, right? 45,000 denomination of Christianity, yes. So during C-19, the house of worship, the very institution and place that people have put their faith in to keep them protected and covered by the blood of Christ, the doors were closed, right? And what does it do? It erodes on people's faith. And they had time enough to question. People have methodically been on the conveyor belt of going to church weekend after weekend, Sunday after Sunday after Sunday after Sunday, and it's just it was so ritualistic. It was such a part of their normal activity. It was such a part of their rigmarole, right? That they never had an opportunity to see it, one, as a business, to two, see it as bullshit, hypocrisy, right? And then they was forced to do for self. So when they was forced to do for self and they rebounded, what do they need the church for? Yeah, let's get this understood real fucking quick. Nobody ever said Morocco represents the Moors today. Nobody ever said that. That's a misnomer. It's never been put in public. It's spoken about the symbolism of what these games represent. Not the allegiance. Nobody's your fucking friends globally, period, at this point, if you don't know yourself. So no, Morocco don't got nothing to do with the Moorish Empire of lore, other than the fact that they as well are a real-time example of conquest. This particular one, Arab conquest in France. So nobody ever said that. It's the symbolism of a Moroccan team beating Spain and Portugal to make it to the finals. Who they forcing and who they going up against in the finals? Because y'all gotta tell me, did France beat Britain? I don't fucking know. Either which one. In particular, it will very much be a poetic justice if they go up against France. Right? So it's the symbolism. It's not the modern day context of what Morocco represents as a country that has been conquered by Arabs. Right? And they treat Africans like shit. Okay? But if you've seen any of these historical accounts of Moorish empires and Arab conquest, even underneath the Moors, they were subjugating a lot of people, and they were not just quote unquote part of the Iberian Peninsula, right? Y'all don't forgot what happened, what was going on in Libya after Gaddafi fell and they was plunging Africans into slavery, right? Why niggas ain't boot up and go over there and save them? So we love pointing fingers and crying and shit and pretending like we care, but we don't. You just comfortable being here, not having to suit up and scrap with your oppressor. So nobody said nothing about Morocco being a representation of Moors. Very far from that, right? They are reminded that the empire has fallen and fallen very far. So, I don't know. Somebody commented on that and people been running with that shit, and it's like, nobody ever said that. Nobody ever said that Morocco was the home of the Moors today or some stupid shit like that. I don't know. But this interesting, right? So people are choosing to do a different version, I guess, if you will, of Christianity. You feel me? Yeah, Argentina versus Croatia, you know. Argentina factors in to this narrative more so than Croatia does. If you're looking at it from a historical context of symbolism, you know what I'm saying? Argentina factors in heavy, right? But this particular article that they came out with today is speaking about how people have left the church, you know what I'm saying? And they are creating different avenues and venues to participate in when it comes to worship. And this particular pastor, they out in Tennessee, right? I believe it was Tennessee. Yeah, they out in Tennessee, Knoxville, and almost like what we were doing with the mineral ministry, you know what I'm saying? How we identifying that is eco-sustainable. Our ministries is more so about mineralization. It's about the minerals. It's about the power of the earth. It's about the power of God's natural creations, ultimately of which you are, because you're composed of minerals, right? So if minerals are the resources and you are composed of minerals, then men are rich. You know what I'm saying? If you are composed of the natural resources on the planet, of which all commodity is based upon, of which all currency and money flows through, the underbedding and the underpinning of all currency is minerals. So if you're composed of that, then you're rich already. If you're composed of that, then you shouldn't have to look far and wide for your value or your worth, because you're reminded of it every single day. Now, the majority of us are mineral deficient, right? Which means that, there's aspects of our personal self that may be piss poor that we need to revisit and prop up, our own internal investment portfolios. You feel me? I need some more gold in me. I need some more copper in me. I need some more iron in my blood so I can act right. You know what I'm saying? So I can bring myself back to my, a holistic, a firm constitution, internal constitution. And what does an internal constitution look like? I got 78% iron content. I got 37% copper content. My phosphorus levels are where they need to be. You dig what I'm saying? And we put more concern in saying, damn, what's my XRP count is this? You feel me? My Doge count was that. My Bitcoin looking this way. My ether's going over here. Yeah, but what about the magnesium? What about the potassium? What about the phosphorus? What about the nitrogen? And what about the sulfur? These are the things ultimately is going to keep you alive. These are the things ultimately is going to fine tune your vessel, in your temple to operate like a vehicle, so you can be your own personal transmitter utility. So you could be your own personal magnet for money that money is attracted to. It's internal, you know what I'm saying? It's all about the minerals. So that was our approach with the mineral ministries. It's like a 4, 5, 6-prong approach. But when I sat with it long enough, I understood, if we administer minerals, right? Like I have a company, Gold Water. You dig what I'm saying? And we sell herbs, we sell minerals. You know what I'm saying? I've been administering minerals for over 20 years now. So I'm a mineral minister because I administer minerals in everything that I do. And I drop gems. So it's a mineral ministries. And the underbedding and the undergirding of Christianity is minerals, right? The church is built from a rock. They say that God is a rock. They say that Jesus is a rock. Peter's name means rock. The breastplate of the motherfucking Levite priesthood that Aaron established is a 12 semi-precious gemstone breastplate. Those are rocks. Right? Crystals got castigated by Christianity for some reason and called evil, but there's over 400 different passages in the Bible that speak glowingly about crystals. Glowingly. There's not one that we can see that is negative. And then Jamal Bryant, right? And shout out to Pastor Jamal Bryant. You feel me? But I clearly remember in 2021 of January, maybe it was February, I was at his church. I was at the new, what is this shit called? What's the old Eddie Long church called? You remember? New Life. It might be New Life, right? Either one. We were doing a economic forum there, right? And I was presenting about hemp. I was presenting about marijuana and cannabis, okay? And I was telling his congregants, of which existed plenty elderly women that were in the forefront doing the dance, right? You know how the Christian women do the dance in the front, right? Those are his prayer warriors. New Birth, right? Not New Life, but New Birth. So those are his prayer warriors. So while he finished doing his feel-goodism, his preaching, they still had the pain in their joints that they came in there with, that they were supposed to be dancing and praying to go away and asking Jesus to intervene, but it never happens. Ever, ever, ever happens. Right? I got up there and I talked my shit about what hemp represents. I called it God's miracle plant, and some people took offense to it because I'm in the house of the Lord speaking about cannabis, even though I made the very clear distinction that there's a difference when it comes to weed and when it comes to hemp or CBD. Okay? It didn't take 5 minutes, not 5. It didn't take 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes, that I was able to rub CBD cream ointment on those elders' joints and their pain went away, right? And then they was like, oh, this shit is voodoo. I said, it's not voodoo, right? You have an endocannabinoid system. It's very scientific. It's very spiritual, but it's very simple. It can be explained via the means of science. I do not know, and I have been in my entire life attempting to find a throughway, right, where science can meet religion and not cancel one another out. It happened so quick that they were so superstitious and suspect of the results that they said that it had to be magic. I said, well, this is God's miracle plant, right? It's God's miracle plant. I'm not speaking blasphemous. I'm reminding you of Genesis 1:29. That herbs shall be for the healing of the nations. Right? This is Sabi's favorite quote. This is what he bases his entire approach on, is that passage out of Genesis. So we already have had the answers. We've had the answers for our nanas for a long time, but because of stigmatization, because of politics, because of taboos, right? and the castigation and the fact that we don't understand that the same people who castigated us and destroyed us as a brand, right? So they can utilize and weaponize the Bible to say that, oh, our slavery was ordained. These was the same people in Jamestown in 1619 who passed the first marijuana tax laws, okay? It happened at the same time when we was criminalized, right? When we were dehumanized, when we were castigated and bastardized in 1619, right? And shout out to anyone else who has, historical records that said that it was before that. If 1515 or 1555 is your number, if 1492 is your number, if 700 AD is your number, we ain't gonna be sitting up here arguing about, whose ass the colonizer put his foot up the deepest, okay? The criminalization of melanin happened at the same time of marijuana, in the same year, at the same place, by the same people, for the same reasons. Okay? So when we brought it to our brother Jamal Bryant in 2020, he wasn't ready for it. But now he's online talking about he's all for it. So we're going to pull back up on Pastor Jamal Bryant and revisit the conversation so he can't pretend as if, we ain't bring this to him in 2020 when he couldn't focus on what I was saying. He was only looking at my crystals, right? But he couldn't tell me that they was evil. But then, I see the nigga online not too long after that, and he's talking about crystals and sages is evil, and people ran with that. You feel me? And I'm like, nah, like all things, that we feel is unjust or unright, then we're going to present the countermeasure and the counter narrative, and we're going to challenge that shit. So that's what the mineral ministries represented in just one respect, right? And then the other respect was to put some respect back on, the mineral kingdom, which is the underpinning and underlining and undergirding foundation of all kingdoms in this particular earth kingdom called Malkuth, right? The ruby red physical world of Malkuth is mineral based. You can't be disrespectful to minerals. Feel me? So these individuals here, they're doing a church out in the open, a church in the wild. They're doing it in the farm now. They're doing it in gardens. They're doing it in they grow vegetables and sell them at a farmer's market. They also collect unsold produce from around the city and deliver it to people in public housing once a week, right? That is a very noble thing as well. We were doing that in 2020 in the West End with an organization called Everybody Eats ATL. On Sundays, we were knocking on the doors of members of that community, and rather than, recommend to them that they should go and get shots, we found out what their medical conditions were specifically, and then we would prescribe the specific foods that had the mineral content to speak specifically to whatever that ailment was. And then we were able to come back 2 or 3 weeks later, engage and see how they were doing, and they all did better. They all did better when introduced to the right food source, because the foods is what's going to introduce the minerals to your body. That's all we're attempting to get at, right? All of the fanciful talking around food and everything, people are missing the point. Or we're looking to administer minerals to people so they can no longer be mineral deficient, and their body, their temple, could work in which and way that, it heals itself and brings them the best results, especially when the conversation at that time was building up immunity, right? So how you going to build immunity? How you going to challenge C19 and pre-existing conditions or the health concerns that we had as a people or a country if we're not talking about health, if we're not standing on the facts, right? You can't get around the facts. And people seem to still be wanting to get around the facts because they went to sleep long enough. Motherfuckers ain't even out here selling sea moss like that no more. Slipping on their pepper. Right? So this church here, and salute to them. You feel me? Because they're utilizing their influence in their congregation to get back in the community and ultimately, to farm, to raise produce, which can only be a benefit to the community because the minerals will always be available, and the definition within of itself of church comes out of the word ecclesia, which is a Greek word, and this was all brought about by Paul, by the way. And ecclesia means that's where the word church comes from, and it meant a gathering in public, right, of citizens to speak about civics in a circle, more so, right? So if you outside on the corner in a cipher, nigga, you're in church, according to the definition of the word. Okay, according to the definition of the word. It never said nothing about no buildings, never said nothing about, a motherfucking church fund. It said outside in a circle, building with your woes, about the woes of life. Right? So they sit around the fire, right? And they say, okay, somebody said the church is the body of Christ. But according, once again, if we want to talk scripturally, right, what is the body of Christ? The body of Christ is the congregants, right, that make up the constitution of whatever Christianity is considered to be. So if you was Catholic, the body of Christ is 2 billion of your peers or members or brothers and sisters that you fellowship with globally that adhere to the shit that you adhere to, right? Because religion is just set up like politics. These niggas is gangbanging. So if you don't belong to a certain denomination, you don't see those other people as part of your thing. You feel me? So here go they pastor. You know what I'm saying? He getting it in with the chicken and shit. He probably be in the basement with that motherfucker doing hoodoo ceremonies as well. But that's a whole nother story. Right? Millennials' religiosity amongst the rise of the nuns. The nuns, not the N-U-N-S, N-O-N-S. Nuns, they don't have no affiliation, right? The millennials don't got no affiliation. These niggas don't understand religion. They're not part of it. Religion will die if left up to Generation Z and millennials. It is a dying form. Why? Because we have already transitioned from Piscean to Aquarian. Right? Piscean is the age of belief. Aquarian is the age of I know. Religion is not going to make the transition. It's going to die with Kanye. Right? And it's also going to it's going to die with Ye, but it's also going to create a level of religiosity and zealots. It's going to create a motherfucking a mystical movement that deals with people that's fucking loony. Because he made a good point, right? As fake and false as we consider Christianity to be, as suspect as we consider Christ to be, right? He's the only nigga that you seen survive, put his hand in the motherfucking mouth of the lion and take food out of it. He's the only nigga that you seen go into the body, the belly of Jonah and come out alive. So he survived 7 days. He said, look, my God is stronger than their God. He's dragging these niggas. If they kill him, they make him a martyr. If they leave him alive, they make him a martyr. He got him in the quagmire. He got him in the quagmire. You feel me? Because if they clip him to shut him up, it's gonna amplify the voice. If they don't clip him and shut him up, he's gonna seem all too powerful, as if his God has given him the cover, where he's now able to go against the same people that his God couldn't and survive. Because these are the same people that killed Jesus. If you don't remember the narrative, like if this shit might be going over your head and you're not getting the nuances of what the fuck is taking place in real time. Right? He is destroying and eroding stereotypes while exposing them at the same time. He's pulling them out into the open and amplifying them where they cannot be denied. So he said, yo, these niggas control finance and media. He got canceled from finance and media. And then they're going to say, We don't got nothing to do with the control of it. Yes, you do, nigga. You just showed us that you got full control of that shit. You did it from your back office. You turned the nigga whole account off. What are you talking about? Oludumare, yeah. But he's then, and that's what it means. He's utilizing his self-sacrifice. His life is the self-sacrifice that is binding this shit up. And ultimately it's gonna break it. Because when people wake up and open their eyes, they'll see the hypocrisy and the exposure that took place. Right? Nothing else. If you're getting people so upset and you're getting people, you represent such a danger, but they're not able to do nothing to you, then whatever you consider to be, whatever you give credence to as your cover, that thing is going to be amplified and worn like a shroud when he's gone. He's going to create a cult. Right? He's going to create a cult. But that will be the end of Christianity. The research shows that between about 20 and 25% of U.S. adults are now nuns. And in the finding emphasized in many news reports that this percentage is higher amongst young adults than those who are older. Right? So the way that you gauge society, they do stats. Right? And they run algorithms because they understand that you need a new lifeblood. You need you need these niggas adrenochrome. Figuratively speaking, young people have to adopt these things because they have to teach it to their children in order for it to exist or persist in the future. They're able to gauge from the mathematics, the statistics. This shit is not going to survive. Right? It's not going to survive. And then the statistics have to be readjusted post-COVID. They got to revisit these conversations and run the numbers again to see how bad it's doing after they got exposed. Yes, the etymology of Ye means you. So everything that happened to Ye is happening to you right now. He's utilizing himself as a black mirror. Feel me? One opinion columnist's recent article in Washington Post, to which I will return below, is titled "Why Millennials Are Skipping Church and Not Going Back."
Take exit 55A, then
yes.
onto Park Street Southwest.
Yes, Kanye is Polaris. He is the North Pole, but the North Pole is being replaced. So we're also seeing, Polaris being pushed out of orbit. We're seeing Polaris going through its final days as it's going to be replaced by King Cepheus, which is a Cushite Ethiopian king. Maybe that might be represented by, I don't know. But Offset's name is Cepheus. Let's see how this shit plays out. Gallup asks Americans a battery of questions on their religious attitudes and practices twice each year. The following analysis of declines in church membership relies on 3-year aggregates from 98 to 2000, from 2008 to 2010, and from 2018 to 2020. So when they do the next aggregate, you feel me? Which will be the post C19 aggregate, the numbers is gonna look crazy, y'all. The numbers are gonna look crazy. You're gonna see an increase in Satanism and witchcraft, which I already have the statistics on. Definitely with witchcraft, right? You're gonna see an increase in people going to African traditional systems, but you're definitely gonna see a decrease in all three monotheistic religions, specifically Christianity. Christianity is in the toilet. You feel me? Statistic wise, not just because I say it, it doesn't live amongst millennials or Gen Zs. It has no future. It's not part of the future blood. U.S. church membership falls below majority for the first time ever, right? We already went through that. You feel me? The numbers is just atrocious. There go the numbers right there. Down there goes the graph. Right? It dipped underneath 50%. And that's a death toll. According to them, I think it's been way underneath 50%. You know what I mean? They still sell it, but Christmas is not a Christian holiday. It's not part of the Christian canon. You know what I'm saying? Christmas is a folk traditional holiday that comes out of the Dutch region as well as, you know, what we consider to be Spain or Spaniard. Hence the fact when you go to Europe, they'll tell you that Santa Claus was a Moor, right? And Swarth Pete, or the elves, what they consider to be the Petes, the Saint Petes, or whatever you want to call them. You can even Google this. All of those was understood to be Moorish, little Moorish pygmies. Everybody knows this but you. Everybody. You feel me? I would bet. I would definitely. I will put that on. I will put that on the motherfucking tarmac. Internationally, everybody knows this. Everybody knows this. You feel me? How are you? That shit is a Moorish celebration coming out of Spain during, you know, based on the Moors. Peace, bro. And peace, bro. And it's also a symbolism. The symbolism of it. Peace. It's an esoteric, alchemical process of what's called Sinterklaas. It's really a symbol. It's dealing with alchemy. Santa Claus is Sinterklaas. Centering something is changing it to pure blackness or soot. Hence the fact that the Swar Peeps represent soot or pure blackness. Hence the fact that they're also considered to be Moors because they represent the darkest of the dark. It's an alchemical process of changing lead into gold, tied into the whole mythology of the sun, which dies in motherfucking Saturn, lead, and it rises itself in gold. Leo, nigga, what are you talking about? We don't even understand the science that we participate in. Hence the fact that it's a green tree with a red 5-pointed star. This whole shit is dealing with the Moors. And the Moors don't even know that shit. The Moors don't even know this shit. Feel me? Shout out to them. Look, and you could do one better and go and Google this shit, right? Go and Google this shit. Be like, is Santa Claus from Spain? Was Santa Claus a Moor? Was the Swar Peeth? Or the, you know, you got to spell it the right way. The Peets, the Swar Peeths, the little elves that he runs around with. They always said that they were Moors coming with gifts. That's why the children fucked with them. He kept the little niggas around him because the children would not fuck with the fat nigga. They fucked with the little elves. They always played with children's. The Moors were always a festive people. But because they represented Africans initially, they was considered to be Twa. Because there was different waves of Moors that came around to Europe. Right? Y'all know the story about the leprechauns and all of that? Peace, greetings. How are you? I kid you not. How are you? Oh, peace. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
I'm amazing. I'm just on live. I'm talking some smack.
Okay.
Are you dealing with the
With the food? Or?
No, I'm bringing in products.
Oh, you're bringing in products. Okay. Hold on.
The invoice sheets. Damn. Fuck. Yeah, pardon me, y'all. Millennials. Hello. You know what? I printed the invoice out, and I think I forgot it in the printer.
Can you email it to me?
How are you reading? Thank you. Absolutely, because I have it. I had already emailed it through Square.
Right, that's the electronic invoice,
Yeah.
but this would be for the paper
Physical.
invoice. We have to have both.
Yeah.
Like a paper invoice when you bring in the product, and the electronic invoice you email through Square.
I understand that. Yeah, I left that. If I could go somewhere to get a printout,
Oh, that's fine. That's why I was saying you could even email it to me and I'll print it either way.
you want me to do that right now? I mean, you want me to do that right now? Okay. Yeah, I'm at work, y'all, so I gotta get this stuff situated. I appreciate y'all. I'll follow up. We'll continue this build, and then I'll give you some time so you can research the Moorish history of Santa Claus, right? Since, once again, we're in the World Cup, we're seeing the symbolism, we don't know what we're looking at, but these are considered to be spiritual and cultural undertones of a narrative that you should want to grasp because it got everything to do with your identity. Why would you get so emotionally engaged by the shit that Ye's saying and not want to know the truth? Right? Take the whole conversation where it deserves to go and do the research so you can qualify this shit so when you talk about it, you know, you don't sound crazy like Ye. All right? I'll tap back in, y'all. Peace.